Hey everyone, Heather K. Margolis with Channel Maven here with our Channel Maven podcast. And today I am joined by one of my good friends, Larissa Crandall, who is Global VP of Channels and Alliances at 1Password. Larissa, thanks so much for joining us.
Excited about this today. Thank you for having me.
Yes, well, you didn't really have a choice. I kind of twisted your arm. I'm just kidding.
Always will
Larissa
sign.
loves.
Always will sign up for things for you.
Yes, thank you. So you are fairly new to 1Password, joined in
Mhm.
October.
Yes.
Um, you have, we've been working with 1Password closely. You have come in and just built camaraderie inside of 1Password, built more importance around the channel, and are having conversations with partners that they've been hungry for.
Hmm.
I want to talk to you, act as if you are doing a therapy session or giving advice to another channel chief out there.
Sounds good.
When you first stepped into your role, um, the first 30 days, you did what you called a listening tour. So you didn't just come in and start blowing things up. Tell us a little bit about why that's important before making any big moves.
Sure. So, big believer in this. And I've talked about this, I think, my entire career. And I learned early on because I started at a partner. So, that's the foundation, and that's just how I'm built. Spend a lot of time both inside and outside. Everything that I do is very intentional and purposeful around spending time with partners and listening to what's working and not working, talking about product, talking about the go-to-market strategy, spending a ton of time internal for really listening to what they think the channel is, what the ecosystem is, the partner. There's all different flavors of it, and what their impression is. Spend a lot of time with executives, but I also spend a lot of time with sellers. That's in my DNA, is really paying attention to them and listening to how they sell, what their interpretation of partners, how they believe they can help, and go from there. So really listening, even though I may know what to do, it's really important because if you don't do that, you miss opportunity for sure. You
Right.
also can't do it alone. So you
Right.
can't
You
come in
need
and
that
yeah,
consensus.
yeah. So you can't just come in even and just because you've done something some other place doesn't mean it's going to be perfect at the next place. And showing that and showing value to the rest of the organization because they all have different perceptions.
Right. Especially if you're coming into a place that has seen a lot of change, has had a lot of change. If you just came in and did what you thought you should do, they're just going to think, oh, here we go again. Here's another shift.
Right.
Instead of, I helped build this.
Hmm.
What are sort of the first, obviously, the executives internally, marketing internally, sales internally, you talk about this as being the connective tissue for the channel. Talk to us a little bit about that. How do the different roles um, play a part in the channel, and how do you go about gaining consensus with those executives?
I love this role as channel chief because you are in the middle of all of it. And what I mean by that is you spend a lot of time with marketing and how to go to market. You spend a lot of time with product. What are we building for products? What is going to get the partners fired up? What's the most compelling solution and what's going on in the market? There's not a lot of places in the org that you don't spend time. Spend a lot of time with strategic, ops. Spending a lot of time recently, if I think of, some of the key meetings that I had, communications, brand, marketing, product, executives, sales, forecast. So you're in the middle of all of that. And it's really important to be part of that and have cross functional relationships. If you don't know what we're building as a company, how are you going to bring it to market? You can't run it in a silo. You can't just go sign up for events and go out to partners and bring in your particular your banner and your brand if it doesn't align with the partners either. It's really important. So really paying attention in what the overall goal is of the company and where you fit and where you don't fit is also, I think, really important. Speak up and say, that's not a path here. Continue down, this direction. So but
Yeah.
I love this because every day is completely different in spending time with the cross functional teams.
And in those early conversations with executive leadership, what are sort of the most important questions for you to ask? One, to make sure they know you know what you're doing. And two, to get into the details that are going to affect the channel down the road, the things that some channel chiefs might miss or not ask about. What are sort of those early fact finding missions? What are you trying to pull out?
You need to figure out what the company is trying to accomplish and then align your strategy to that. For example, if the company is trying to expand internationally, which we're putting some focus on right now, including the channel and the partner ecosystem and how that's connected and how it can be an accelerator to revenue, um, is a key component, something that you need to bring up and educate. Another play could be if there's expansion within a particular segment. For instance, if you're in a company that's primarily sold into SMB and commercial, your product is ripe and ready for enterprise, the company just hasn't been there. That's a great lever to pull and say, this is how partners they're already selling into them, they already have the contracts into them, and they're also selling with the rest of the ecosystem that your particular product is connected to. So again, going back and
Yeah.
educating them, but really defining where you fit. You may not fit with everything. I've worked, in companies that are 100% channel and then a mixture of indirect and direct. So being really prescriptive is super important.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I've always appreciated about you, and we've known each other a very long time. We were both 12 when we first started
Very
doing
funny.
this. Um, is that you don't start with the mechanics of the channel program. You start
Yeah.
with the people. You start with the business. How do you go from the people in the business into what's best for the partner ecosystem? What are some of the things, what are the table stakes that you need to make sure are in place so that your partner ecosystem is productive and successful?
People first is something that you really have to concentrate. You could have the best products in the world, program all of it. If you can't get people behind it, it's not going to work. And you won't
Yeah.
accomplish what you're really set up to do. I think another piece is spending time identifying the roles that you have within your partner organization, and does it align with the company goal? And does it align with the partner ecosystem that you're going after? Very important. And because if your partner organization goes out and we're not connected to the right partners, it you spin cycles and then you're having
Yeah.
to pivot and sometimes you find out too late. Right. So spending time on the people part of it. I think another piece is having a really clear understanding and give clarity to the partner organization on how they fit in the rest of the business and how they fit in what's going on in the market and how they fit with the right partners is really important. But yeah, you can't,
Yeah.
it's not let me showcase the partner program and isn't this great? You can have the best incentives in the world. We worked on the partner program and you guys were
Yeah.
instrumental in putting that together. Um, but that's really key. You can't just spiff and incent, and if people aren't bought into to what you're all about, it's not going to work.
Right. Right. Um, as you move into that 60-day window and you start doing the listening tour with your partners, what are you listening for? What questions are you asking above and beyond? We want more margin. You never give us leads. We need better enablement. Like, what are the things that you're listening for that truly make a difference long term, not just, hey, by the end of this quarter, we need to make this much money. When you're looking long term, what are you listening for?
I think one of the biggest things for me that has been a pivot and is identifying the right partners and having a mutual truly mutual partnership. But by that, I mean, if you have worked with certain partners, I have worked with all different flavors of partners throughout my career. It doesn't mean that those partners align to where you are from a solution perspective, for instance. And meeting with partners and saying, I don't even actually talk. I spend a lot of time with engineering organization, believe it or not, to start. I don't go directly talking about marketing and going and talking about partner programs. If there is not a mutual connection with that solution set and we don't fit in, for instance, being where I am today in that security practice, AI practice, we don't align with what the compelling, um, reasons that customers are calling into them. If that doesn't align, you have to pivot. I have said, okay, it's not going to work this round
Yeah.
for us to hang out together. It did at the last company. And if you have that mutual trust and those relationships, we both know early on it won't. And then you go from there. So
Yeah.
don't force fit something if it doesn't work. Then you can
Right.
talk about margins. Those are all, like you said, table stakes, right?
Yeah.
Margins. What are you going to do for me? Make sure it's a simple program. How are we going to go to market? Predictability, profitability, all of that. But if
Yeah.
the product solution doesn't align with those partners, you'll you won't be successful.
Right. You'll
Yeah.
waste a lot of time.
Yeah, you do.
And it's not personal, right? Like
No,
it's
it's not
just
personal.
not
Right.
not the right fit.
Right.
Um, a lot of times when you're talking to the partners, they'll tell you what they need, but sometimes they'll tell you what they need. They'll say, yes, let's partner. Like you go out for dinner, everything sounds great. But it's really when you get into a position where you're in the midst of a sale. What are the things that you're looking for? How do you uncover what those gaps are when you really put it into practice? Instead of just like the meeting that you have, your executives, their executives, everybody singing kumbaya, and then we go to try to go to market together. What are sort of the tells that you look for that suggest that that's not going to work?
Great question. That needs to be an early on planning session. I always say you go out to dinner and celebrate something and do the hard stuff in the beginning. If that isn't done and you go out to dinner and you go away and that was a great trip, nothing was didn't it didn't work on both sides.
Right.
That's tough. That's tough to figure out too late too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's so I think the biggest gaps are, again, it goes back to, does the solution and does the product that you have, will it give the company the acceleration into a different market? Are you providing value for them? So it's about them, it's not about you. Once you figure
Hmm.
that out early on and build plans around that, then you fit into them. But it can't be a one-sided. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, some of the gaps are not identifying that quickly.
Well, and they say, I think it's you have to tell
I
somebody
was
something
just gonna
seven
say that.
times before they retain it.
Yes.
If you've done that and they still can't say it back to you, then it's probably not, they're not retaining it because they're not actually bought in.
Right.
So yeah. So
I
once
think,
you've
and I
done
think you and I have said this in the channel. You have to say what, 7 times to have it be have 27 times in the channel,
right,
right?
exactly.
It's like you have to keep saying it over and over again.
Right. Well, and it's like, in fairness, they're hearing something 7 times
Yeah.
from between 25 and 100 different
Hmm.
technology companies. So it's understandable that they're not retaining that. I just posted this morning, Ronell Richards interviewed me at Channel Partners, and I have said, whenever a technology company says, oh, well, my partners are terrible at marketing, I say back to them, how good are you at doing your implementation?
Mm,
Like everybody's good at what they're good at. And if it doesn't feel like it's aligning, that they can see what's in it for them, that they know how they're going to make money,
right.
um, it's not negative. Nobody's upset with anybody. It's just not a priority right now. Maybe it is down the
Hmm.
road.
Yeah.
So you've done your internal listening tour, you've done your external listening tour. What's the first thing as we're moving into now 90 days?
Hmm.
What's sort of the first thing that you're focused on changing or improving?
Engaging Channel Maven so you can hurry up and accelerate your your program, right? This is the fastest program I've ever put together.
Yeah.
I think so with help from for you guys. So being understanding, in fairness, and it's a big compliment to you and team, is
Thank you.
engaging, know when you don't have the resources to put something together and ask for help. Big deal.
Yeah.
Because the longer you wait, the less time that you're accelerating and doing the things that you came on board to do. So
Right.
I think that was, important for me. And I was happy that, we engaged you. I think one of the other things I would say is, when you get to the 90-day mark and you're trying to, implement, hopefully you've built the groundwork internally so everyone understands and has the right expectations for when you do launch a program. So if you've
Yeah.
done all the right things internally, externally, you've listened to partners, you've gotten back to them, which I thought we actually did really well, where
Yeah.
we engaged partners and heard, the program feedback and all of that, but went back to them and said, thank you so much for the recommendations. We implemented this and this because we heard this overwhelmingly from you. Really important. So when you do launch, it doesn't come across as, oh, here's another partner program or here's another announcement that they're making. I'm constantly including, if I can go get a quote, if I can go bring a partner to say something, if I can go validate something from a leader at one of the partners, it goes a long way when you
Yeah.
launch or when you do a big thing, especially as you put your strategy together.
Yeah. And I think, I always say whether you do it with us or you do it with somebody else, it's important to do those interviews, even if you know what the partner is going to say,
Yeah.
so that one, sometimes you do get anecdotal information that is totally new and helps to really drive a unique and innovative channel program.
Hmm.
And also, they just need to feel like they've been heard.
Sure.
Or when you do the launch or you do the announcement, they sort of roll their eyes and they're like, here we go again.
Hmm.
But when you sort of a lot of partner programs. So you've built the partner program now, you've launched the partner program, and now you're recruiting or strengthening those relationships. A lot of companies focus on partner quantity and they
Hmm.
just want to be able to say over, 5,000 partners or 2,000 partners, depending on how big they are. You have always focused more on quality. Talk a
Hmm.
little bit about why, how that helps your team not get overwhelmed, and then the benefits to the partners.
Yeah, I think I call it focused partner strategy, which I think a lot of leaders are doing, and it doesn't mean we're selecting and deselecting partners. It means that it goes back to what I was saying prior, where if you've met with the right partners and you have a mutual true partnership and you build a plan and you've talked about how you align and we fit here and here's how we can help you, all of that, and you're basically you're selecting each other. That's
Yeah.
really important and we don't become, somebody on a line card and you get blended in with everybody else. But quality is important as well because it gives clarity to the business. And it also, as you do a build, it allows you to be really prescriptive on the roles that you have, the people that you hire, and what they're about to do. If you go hire channel account managers, for instance, and you give them too much to focus on, it won't scale. And that's not fair to the partners because
Right.
then you're not giving them the good, partner experience that they are requesting and they're asking for. So you get blended in and you become more transaction and it's not a relationship.
Yeah. I feel like 25 years ago when I was at EMC, we talked a lot about, well, we're EMC, of course they're going to sell us, like we have the
Hmm.
power. And
Right.
then probably 15 years ago there was a shift where there's so many new technologies out there, the partners had the power. And
Hmm.
now it's actually become this very mutual, like, I don't want to recruit you if
Right.
you don't if you're not going to benefit our business and you're going to be, one more thing to overwhelm and tax my team. And the
Mhm.
partners don't want to take on a technology that doesn't make sense for their business. So I feel like we're really sort of coming together, and it's a truly mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah, and I've had plenty of conversations, with partners that you pitch and you say, "Here's who," and they say, "It's not good timing right now because you'll get lost in everything that we're working on." And I appreciate that, and that comes for
Yeah.
years of relationship and having transparent conversations versus, "I'm gonna pitch to you, you're gonna pitch to me, and we're gonna, spend some time and hang out. We're gonna sell things," right? It
Right.
sometimes it doesn't work. I'd rather know early on that it won't work
Right.
because it's gonna come back as a reflection on you. You pick the wrong partners and they pick you, vice versa, and it doesn't work, then you're in a tough QBR where nothing's coming out
Totally.
of them.
Yeah, and I think I was used to do, being in sales, my, like, 3rd or 4th final follow-up was, "You never call, you never write." And it was, "I've
Mm,
reached out to you 3 times. I don't wanna become a nuisance. Please tell me which of these scenarios is your situation.
right.
1, you still wanna hear from me, you're just really busy right now. 2, you don't wanna hear from me, we're not a good fit. 3, we're a good fit, but you're not the right person. We should reach out to blank space to, like, fill in."
Mhm.
And it first of all, people loved it. They would write back like, "Very funny, please take me off your list." But I appreciate knowing, right? Like, I don't
Same.
wanna send 2,000 emails and get 2 responses and have my response rate be so low. I wanna know that we're just not the right fit.
Right.
It's the same with your partners. Um, when you think about optimizing a partner program, partners are always saying ease of doing business is the number one of the top 3
Mhm.
reasons they choose to work with a technology company. When you think about optimizing the partner's experience, what are some of the little nuances that can improve that experience and help make you easier to do business with?
Make it simple is the like, right. I mean, you think of all the surveys that we did recently and
Yeah,
talking to partners, just be easy to work with. I remember years ago, I went into a partner in EMEA, and we were fairly new to them, and we're pitching and we're talking, and um, who we were presenting to, she had just got out of a meeting with another vendor. I don't know who it was, but she said, "If you're here to tell me that I have to do an algorithm to figure out how your partner program works, I've had it today,
yeah,
where tell me how you're different." And it's similar to what we did here with you, right? Is okay, we're going to be simple, easy to work with,
yeah,
and they don't have to do an algorithm to figure out how to work with us. It's we're going to take what you have for has provided for input, and we're going to put that in the program. And yeah, predictability and be consistent. I think that is really important. So when you show up, you mean it, and you're going to do it again.
yes,
You're going to do it over and over again. So it's not that you're sending out a different strategy every other quarter, every even a couple of times a year. You can pivot and you can add to your strategy, but to do a complete overhaul really confuses partners.
yeah,
It confuses internal as well, your team.
right,
Wait, I thought we were just going. You need some time to work that out.
right. Well, and then you get internally, your partner facing team members start to say to the partner, "Oh, don't worry about it. Like, we're going to have another one in 6
Right.
months. Just
Yeah, and
like,
that's not good.
I'll help you." Right? Like, that's not
Yeah.
scalable. You get for sure launch fatigue. Like, if you're launching a program just to get the PR around it, like, find something else to get PR around. Like,
Hmm.
that's just not it's a lot of work internally, and then yeah, your partners are like, "Now I don't even know. I don't know what tier I am. I don't know what to call myself. I don't know where to get resources."
Right.
But I also think there's an element of, as a salesperson, which both of us are,
Hmm.
as you're talking to a customer, aren't you configuring in your head how much money you personally are going to make on that, right? You're
Hmm.
like, okay, so it costs this much, and this is how much the company takes, and this is how, oh, I can buy the boat.
Right.
Um, that if partners can't be in a conversation with a customer, figuring out at least what range their company or they as an individual are going to make, they're not motivated.
Yeah.
That's what drives their motivation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Looking back at the evolution of partner programs across the industry, um, do you think channel leaders need to do things differently now to earn that credibility and the loyalty? And what do you think partners are sort of sick of hearing from channel leaders?
Um, I think I just heard this this week, so I'll give you a quote. And it was I'm trying to figure out how it came out. We weren't. It was around incentives. And said, I hope you're not another vendor that's coming in that's going to go just try to spiff and incent our sellers when they don't even get what your solution is. Like we're
Yeah.
not about that anymore. And it used to be who had the biggest trip, who had the biggest spiff meeting. Now, I am all for incenting the right way and they're in within the right places in the organization to gain traction, to recognize people for doing the right thing, closing, opportunities. But it was really interesting. It was just it's about a business relationship now. It is not about who has the best. Now again, go celebrate and have the fun and do all that when it makes sense. But I think a lot of the evolution too is it's changed dramatically on having meaningful, conversations as well.
Yeah.
People don't want to show up and have a Zoomathon all day long with vendors that are saying the same thing. So be different. Show up and say, I viewed something that we could be part of, that we're connected to, that we
Yeah.
are having integration with, and we could go help, accelerate. That's a lot of what we're doing is we're pushing, our self into, the solutions that they're selling, but aligning to their business objectives. So
Yeah. I
it's
think
really
the
changed dramatically, I think.
Absolutely. I think, instead of with them, what's in it for me, we
Right.
say with up all the time. What's in it for the partner? They need to understand. And you, as we've talked about today, you can be more discerning as well. You can say, you know what, that partner is not the ideal partner. You can go find your gaps and then almost do account-based marketing. Like these are the partner types we want. Let's make a list of which partners are out there doing selling like that or have a
Mhm.
security practice or have and make sure that you're not spinning cycles.
Mhm.
For sure. We as consumers are being marketed to in such a specific targeted way that when we get a message that doesn't land, like I've been Instagram listens to you, obviously. Your phone listens to you and then feeds
Mhm.
Instagram information. And I don't have a dog. I was with a friend who has a very old dog, and the dog was there, and the dog's arthritic. And we were eating outside, and the server was talking to us about the dog and the arthritis and medication. My Instagram is now feeding me a ton of arthritis medication for
Yeah.
dogs. Like, that's a miss.
Yeah, it's a
Every
miss.
time I get one, I'm like, I don't have a dog.
Right.
Like, I am not your target. So I think it's really understanding what's in it for the partner, understanding what their pain points are, and
Mhm.
then only trying to quote unquote sell them if they're a good fit for you and you can actually help solve those pain points.
Yeah. I think and also another point would be how do you fit in their ecosystem of some of their top big bigs that they're really focused on?
Yeah.
Because no one wants to hear only about your solution. It's a constant thing that happens at business planning, in our forecast calls that I heard today, and some of the deals that we're closing right now. It's end of the month. Is oh, we were working on this solution with this particular other. I know that you're integrated. We want to go bring this together, and the partners are solution selling, right?
Yeah.
All those customers are going to them. So if they understand where you fit as something that they're selling and pitching all day long, they'll bring you
Yeah.
in. Shame on you if
Yeah.
you don't share that with them and you're disconnected from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a lot more information before you have that first conversation instead of
Yeah.
just sort of like sitting at a booth at an event
Hmm.
saying, "Oh, come talk to me. Like I know nothing about you, but you're wearing a name tag." So,
Right.
I think it's very different. So, we like to end our podcast with what is a fun fact about Larissa
Ooh,
that
fun
people might
fact.
not know?
Well,
Yeah.
my daughter's getting married in a little over, yes, I see a week here. So a mother of the bride, we're like full into that and super excited. Really
That's
excited
awesome.
for her. It's all the planning. I learned a lot about wedding planning and not, partner program talk. So
Super fun.
that's been fun. Yeah, that's been fun. But yeah, really excited for that this summer.
Great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That'll
Thank
be
you.
phenomenal. Well, thank you, Larissa, so much for joining us.
Thank
Thank you all
you.
so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and follow me on LinkedIn. And Larissa, if people want to follow you on LinkedIn, where should they do that?
Yeah, it's just Larissa Crandall. That one
Love
password.
it.
Yeah. Thank you,
Perfect.
everybody. This is fun.
Thanks.